second interview of the day for the wonderful celebration of the book 1% More, The Hidden Force to Creating Extraordinary Results in Life and Business. And congratulations to each one of you, your contributing authors. We have Darryn Yates, Teresa Porter, and of course, the heart and soul behind it, Linda Carmine. And what a celebration today to see this book really reaching many hearts. If you started out with the pre-launch a couple of days ago, and here we are on the paperback launch, and your rankings are doing remarkable in the categories of business and spirituality, and a number of different categories, women's inspirational and men's inspirational. That's really cool to see the reach that this book is having. So congratulations to each one of you for being here today and for participating. Teresa, do you care to share what led you to say yes to participating in 1% More, and what has being able to write your chapter done for you?
Well, when Len was first sharing the concept with me, I want to say like almost a year and a half, 2 years ago, I liked the concept of that, like, how can you speak into all points of your life because they all feed into each other, right? And it is really about doing those little tiny things each day that add up to make a big change. And that's how I've led my life. It's being a mother of three and a business owner. It's always a little tiny moments that I look for opportunities to work on my business or spend time with my kids, quality time. It's that 1% more, right? And I'm working with clients for 22 years. I've heard all the excuses of why they can't do X, Y, and Z. So I feel like they're always looking for why they can't do things rather than for windows of opportunity where they can fit those little things in to make that 1% more, to make that change in their life. So I really liked the concept, and Len's just a great person. He is always giving, paying it forward. So I wanted to be a part of the vision that he had for this book. So
How awesome. Very cool. And I'm glad I'm really enjoyed your chapter, the unspoken truth, be the real you. And wow, and it's so important. It is true that unless we can really even discover who the real us is and then live that, it makes all the difference in the world for how we show up in the world.
yeah, the for first of all, I've had the idea of writing a book or even writing more, but my story has always been I struggle with dyslexia. I was diagnosed with dyslexia when I was in grade school, and so the writing process can be very difficult for me sometimes. And then when I go to even write posts, or I mean, I've had to learn to write because of my business, right? Writing copy, promoting, marketing. But sometimes it's so in my head and the process takes so long that I just don't. So I have all these ideas in my head and I don't share them because they get stuck between here and actually writing them. And so I felt this was a great opportunity to like make myself have a deadline to actually write a chapter for a book. And then as for the topic and the story that I shared in my chapter is just been my journey, and again seeing the patterns in my clients' life of like them disconnecting from themselves at the core. And again, it's all those excuses, and as we come into our adult life, we get so busy in being the people pleaser, which was I was a peacemaker, people pleaser, saying yes to everyone else but myself, that I had to learn the hard way of how to reconnect to myself at the core. And that was kind of the journey I shared in my chapter, is like being a mom of three, running a business. I was always so busy to not do the things that filled me up. But I got to a point where I was so depleted and I was giving out of irritability and like I have to, rather than being authentic and giving, that I didn't like being in that space anymore of feeling like I didn't enjoy doing the things I was doing because I felt like it was an obligation versus like I genuinely wanted to do the things for my kids or wherever, right? And so I had to learn how to take a step back and evaluate what was working in my life, what wasn't, and then address and be proactive in correcting the things in my life that weren't working for me. Because when you get stuck on autopilot, I talk about this in my chapter, and that's where I see a lot of my clients are stuck on autopilot and they're just going through the motions in life and they're not really connected to those things that they love do, that they lights them up, that they're excited to wake up in the morning to do, right? Because they've just stuck on autopilot and they're going through the motions. And I've noticed that in so many things because I work with clients in so many facets. Like I do private yoga sessions. So this is where I really, rather than teaching a big group, I start to ask those questions where are you feeling this? Do you feel this here in your hip flexors? Do you feel this opening up? And I started to ask those questions, and a lot of them were like, I don't know where I'm feeling it. So I realized they were in their body. When in the practice of yoga, they were somewhere else thinking about something else. They weren't being present. So the more I got to work with clients one-on-one, I realized how often they are disconnected in everything they're doing. So that's where I really spoke into that in my chapter, is like the importance of taking care of yourself and how to do that. And I call it the Porter method. And that's what I teach my clients in my 6-month program, is how to reconnect to themselves at the core. And that comes from releasing those subconscious blocks that are creating those negative patterns in your life. I call it the hamster wheel. Like, you keep going on the same thing over and over, right? But you're not getting anywhere because you're stuck on this hamster wheel of busyness. That word really like grades on my nerves now when I hear people say that. Like, how are you doing? Oh, I'm so busy. And they're always so frantic and frazzled, and, like they're just not enjoying life when they stay busy. And so I was saying that a lot, and I had to evaluate, okay, am I really busy, or is my life just really full? Right?
Right.
I had to start changing my language around how I'd answer that question myself. Is then I would say my life is very full, because it's true. It's very full. So that's kind of a little bit about like why I was inspired to write the chapter, as I wanted to tell my story in hopes to inspire others, especially adults that have kind of lost themselves, of how to kind of reconnect to themselves at the core.
So one suggestion, you're very, very good at articulating your thoughts. So there are beautiful ways where you can speak your book. Even Microsoft Word, any of these programs, you can just start talking, recording, and then get it, then have that to fine tune. So that's just a suggestion if you really want to get a book out there.
Yeah. My tech guy, just had a conversation with him yesterday. We were working on some marketing stuff, and he's like, you can have the speak option in Google Docs. And like, he showed me, I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't I know this? Like, how many years ago? I've been working in Google Drive all the time with the people I do stuff with. And I was like, well, that's good to know. I guess I don't take the time to go in there and see all the little gadgets. So I did that yesterday for something I was working on. I spoke into it, and then I went back and edited it. So
awesome.
yes.
One of the things I've noticed for myself, as far as taking time really for self-care, is that the days that I stay very faithful to meditating and really taking that time, just take the break, meditate, be quiet, I feel so much better. Because yes, my life is very busy too, very full. And when I take the time to do that, the results are much more centered and calm and happy. And, so there's a lot that goes into exactly what you talked about. Thank you.
Yeah, and I feel like I operate from a place of responding versus reacting.
Right.
When I've taken the time to start my morning with meditating or stretching. And sometimes it looks like only literally like maybe 7 minutes this morning is what I had to meditate. And then I went for a walk for 20 minutes, because that's what it looks like. So that's my opening quote in my chapter, is look for windows of opportunity rather than making excuses. So there's always a way. If you have your priorities, it's finding those windows of opportunity.
Very cool. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Darryn, your chapter is Reveal Your Rockstar.
Yes.
Talk to us about what you're talking about with that.
I live my dreams, from the St. Louis area, small town in Illinois. I moved to LA, got my college degree, lived in Studio City, Marina Del Rey, and chased a dream. And I toured. I was so close, small record deals. I was in Nashville. I went overseas to play for the Troops. I was so close to getting that big break. But the mindset was always trying to impress somebody else. I kind of waited to go full bore with everything, because I waited for someone else to give me an opportunity to get to that national stage or that global stage. And so when I never got that big break, I hit a rough time. I went into the corporate world, tried to work a regular job, and butted heads and got fired all the time. And I found myself in a really rough spot. And, I was married. My wife was pregnant with kid number 3. And, I didn't make it in music. I didn't get a big break in radio. I'm like, I can't make it in a regular job. Maybe this world isn't for me. What am I going to do? So when I hit that rough spot, I had 2 choices. I could, stay in that dark path and who knows what happens, or I could figure it out, bounce back, and make it happen. And so when I realized with the opportunities in online marketing, I don't have to wait around for somebody else to tell me I can do it. I can make it happen myself. I look inward. I blamed, not getting a break. Look in the mirror, Darryn. You can make this. I started studying the people that had done that, the self-made people who were entertainers. And, I have an edgy show, the Darryn Yates Show. I have the band On Tracy Lane. And so when I realized all I did to make things happen like I wanted to make them happen, all I did was change my belief system.
Mm.
And Lynn was one of the first guys I networked with, and he interviewed me, maybe 2 years ago, Lynn, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It just had a blast, and we've kept in touch, of course. And I want to thank you guys again for this opportunity. But Reveal Your Rockstar, we all have that vision of what we want our life to be. We all have those dreams. We all have that vision of what we really want. But a lot of us don't go after it. Mm-hmm. And when I say reveal your rock star, it means revealing your vision. Show us what you want. Show us what your passion is. What's your purpose? We want to hear it. We want to feel it. We want to be entertained or inspired by it. So whatever it is that you want to get to, that next level, reveal your rock star and go do it. So that's kind of the now, if you really want to be a real rock star, you can do that too, I guess. Of course. Now you can make it. There's bands on TikTok. There's bands all over the place, crushing it, building brands. They don't need a label. They don't need some guy to tell them that they're good enough, some A&R person with some opinion of if their music's good enough. So you can build your audience. You can make it happen. It's not easy. You got to dig in. You got to want it. You got to, like you're saying, you got to enjoy the process. But it's possible. And when I learned, oh my gosh, this is possible. It's up to me and my work ethic and my personality. Sign me the F up. Let's go.
I love that. Yeah. That is beautiful because, we can live life pleasing others and trying to meet up with all the other standards of other people's lives. But if it doesn't fulfill, then what's the point of it all, Right. And if we're not enjoying our life and living life to the fullest, we only have one life to live. Exactly. And we should really live it to the best that we possibly can. So when you put pen to paper, Darryn, to write your chapter, how did it affect you?
Like we talked about before we went live, having to put it into 1,200 words, whatever it was. I stopped and restarted and crinkled up papers, and I was like, okay. Then I stopped trying to okay, what's everybody going to think? I just wrote from the heart. I did everything I was supposed to do. I chased my dreams. I believed in myself. I got my college degree to get me into California. That was my ticket to California. My parents were like, whoa, this dream of California. Okay, if you wanted that bad, we'll make a deal with you. You get your college degree, we'll help you get out there. So I really just went to my heart and okay, here's the story. Here's the real story. And it really helped me hone in on my messaging and the clarity and how I want to present it, and so it's been a really enlightening process and it sounds, just tell your story, but there's so many different sides to us all. But when in doubt, go from the heart. And that's what I did. And when I started writing from the heart, it was a lot easier than trying to figure out what people are going to like and what are going to think about me. Just go from the heart, and reveal to the world what your passion is, because chances are there's a lot of other people that have the same ones and they are going to be entertained or inspired by it.
Beautiful. The biggest thing is I constantly ask the questions. I work with many authors daily, and the first question I ask them when they first come to me to say, well, I want to publish is, what's your why? Is your why big enough? Because anything that we set out to do, from making huge changes to, writing a book, to all the other things that we do, there has to be the why behind it. Mm-hmm. And then what steps do you take to get to that next level besides the why? Are you willing to stick it out? Are you willing to do the hard work? Are you willing to really step forward and lead by example? And, I always say that it's just one person. If one person reads your chapter and it changes their life, wow. Yeah. What more could we ask for? And yet, if one person is touched, the chances of many people being touched is what really does happen, because it's a ripple effect out to the world.
That's right.
Beautiful.
Go
ahead.
it's having the courage to lean into what you know you're supposed to be doing. I always knew it deep down. I was at the 9 to 5 jobs. No offense against 9 to 5. If it makes you happy, you've won the game. But I was absolutely miserable. I would write down my vision of what I really wanted to do all the time and write little pictures and diagrams of stages and things. But I'm like, why am I not doing this? Why am I sitting here being told what I'm worth when I know I can go out there and figure out what I'm worth myself? I don't know. There's just so much to it when you just lean into it. And, a lot of mentors say when you face your fear, on the other side of fear are the rewards you want. It's such a true statement, so yeah, it's fun.
Well, it warms my heart because all three of you are much younger than I am. And it is wonderful to see as younger people that you're taking the lead and finding what your heart wants. Because sometimes a person can go through life for many, many years and have no clue. And then they get to 60, 65 and they're going, what am I, what have I done with my life? And that's not what you want. But the earlier that you begin to find that and really step into it is when not only do you make a difference in the world, but you're happier and healthier, and so are your kids, those around you that love you, the really important things. So Lynn, you really went the extra mile in very wisely choosing the authors that you brought to this book. Why did you choose Teresa and Darryn?
Well, Teresa and Darryn are very heart-centered individuals. They shine in their own way. They have what it takes to be successful, and they are successful, and they have what it takes to teach other people how to be successful. Their message that they have that they want to get out there resonated with me, and having them in the book was very important for me to have them in this, because I wanted them to shine. I wanted them to grow themselves, and I wanted the people to see who these wonderful individuals are. I don't want them to be the best kept secret. I want them to be the best known people out there in what they do and how they do it. And I wanted to make this book that opportunity for them to launch and grow even more so. So that's why I invited them in this. I was very selective of who I invited in to this book, because I wanted to make sure that they had the same mindset and the drive and the vision of what I am looking to do. And I want to make sure that I have very like-minded people in this book, so that the message is consistent. And all the authors do bring that to the table.
Very, very good. So for you, Darryn, what is something that you've written this book, you're living the life now, you're making a big impact. What do you want and see for your future?
I talk about my it's funny. I've always had my dreams, of being a musician, of having my show. I want to take those as far as I can, but the powers that be, they instilled. Now I have a purpose. My purpose is to send that message out of what I was talking about, revealing your rock star. And so I want to continue to get the purpose out there, the message out there. But my dreams, music and my show. But the purpose is to that message. I mean, that's what fires me up. Yeah, I love doing my show. I love music. But like you said, when one person tells me, man, you changed my life, you helped me do something that's making me look more forward to every day, there's no tour or no big show that could come close to humans seeing the light and looking forward to their next morning, every morning, so.
Very true. And I think about some of the most popular people in music and even in the movies. And sometimes their lives are so messed up because they have not ever stopped to really listen to what they truly do want. And so in the world that we live in right now, we have everything at our fingertips. Look what we're doing right now, where it's going, how many places, this very interview. And you never know how far reaching that could be. But you're able to live the life and get your message out, which is incredible. It's really, really beautiful. And we have the tool sets available to us now, and to be able to have the best of all worlds is what we're really looking at, beautiful. How about for you, Teresa? What's your big dream for the future?
I have lots of them. So let me pick which one you want to share. I don't know. Right now, what I'm working on, my big vision is I've been a massage therapist for over 22 years. And so I'm in a transition of where I found a therapist to come in and take over my practice. So I'm training her to step in, take care of my clients, and then I'm wanting to grow my coaching program because that's what really lights me up right now is working with these individuals that are making the choice to finally do the deep work, right? And work through releasing their stories and the labels that have held them back to be able to really connect to themselves to the core and find what their why is and their passion. And that to me is very rewarding as when I do my emotional release techniques that I use the emotion code and I use yoga, my yoga background, to help people release their subconscious blocks through movement and actually releasing the emotions through motion code, which is this one emotional release technique. When I see the results with them and their ahas that come out of that, that kind of gives them little breadcrumbs or pieces to the puzzle, and they start connecting the dots of why they have these negative patterns in their lives that they keep repeating and not getting the results that they desire. And it's because they have these blind spots that they're not able to see. And once they were able to release those subconscious blocks, it's like they actually get physical release, like if they have chronic back pain, stomach issues. I just worked with a client yesterday doing a session, and just I'm in the health and fitness role, so this doesn't seem weird to me, but she's been having issues since she was the age of 8 with constipation, and we addressed that through the emotional release work because since the small age, she was told to never share her feelings or express her feelings, to stuff them down, and she had an alcoholic dad, that she's never allowed to talk about what goes on in their home outside of their home.
Mhm.
Now she's in her late 20s and she's realizing how much she doesn't vocalize her life and her emotions and feelings, even to her close girlfriends, because of that pattern she was taught from a young age. So we addressed that one physical issue, and if you don't address those physical issues, or excuse me, if you don't address the mental and emotional state, that's where they start to manifest on a physical level, because it starts to change the vibration in your body, starts to cause disease and dysfunction in the body.
Absolutely.
And that's when you start to have chronic pain, autoimmune disease, chronic constipation, all those things manifest in different ways. So when I start helping my clients peel back those, that's what lights me up. And then they start to show up different for themselves. They start to communicate in a better way, which is that ripple effect we talked about earlier, right? Is they're able to show up better for their partners, their kids, their family members, their clients, or they finally have the courage to leave that job and create and that's been another story, a client of mine, that she finally left 2 jobs and she became a life coach. And this was actually through Len's recommendation. Like, I have this network of people that when I work with clients, I'm like, okay, I don't know about this topic, but I can refer you to this person and they can give you more information, right? That's what lights me up. So my vision is to grow my coaching program and to host retreats a couple times a year, yoga retreats, adventure retreats, getting people out of their comfort zone. And that's my vision where I'm at right now.
Very, very cool. Well, so proud of this book, proud of the work all 3 of you are doing in this world. And just, it's a real day of celebration to see this come to the world and get your messages out. It's really crucial at a time like this. We have a lot of crazy stuff happening in our world, and it takes all the voices that each one of us speaking up, sharing our thing. And I always say it just has such a tremendous ripple effect out. So thank you for how all 3 of you show up in the world and the work that you do, because it is very, very important at this time. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Becky. And thank you, Len, for putting this book together and all the hard work and all the details that you put into making it stand out and be that 1% more.
He's done a remarkable job. I'm really proud of him. So for those that are listening, if you go to Amazon, you can type in Leonard D. Carmine and easily bring up his book. In the chat for some of the locations, it's getbook.at/1% more. If you just couldn't find it on Amazon, but pick up a copy of this book, share it with somebody that could just use this little bit of information and enjoy and truly enjoy, and reach out. Lynn has plenty of ways with every author that's in the book, there's 24 authors in this book. He has plenty of ways that you can connect with him or with any one of the other authors. So thank you to each one of you for a beautiful interview, and thank you for the work you do in the world. Awesome.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Nice meeting you.